Tonight we're continuing our series of special reports along the route, a pipeline discussion. So far we've heard why carbon capture pipelines are wanted and where they'd go, but what if? What if something goes wrong with one of them? Or what if there's a leak or even an explosion?
We've had a meeting with a first responder from the Satartia? Yes, explosion with one of the victims that he found unconscious in a car after his four-wheeler, died because it was gas. That's where we don't believe that they're going to be doing anything for the safety.
On February 22nd, 2020, outside a small Mississippi village, a 24-inch pressurized liquid carbon dioxide and hydrogen sulfide pipeline ruptured. More than 300 people were evacuated from Satartia and surrounding communities. There were no fatalities, but 46 people were hospitalized with carbon dioxide poisoning. This rupture has been a focal point for those opposing two liquid carbon capture pipelines setting their sights on the Midwest. One of their biggest concerns is safety.
And a hazmat team has to come in. And the nearest hazmat team is over 2 hours away. So what's going to survive in 2 hours?
The response to the Satartia rupture was highly flawed. A report by PHMSA, the Governmental Pipeline Oversight Agency, says first responders around Satartia were not informed of the pipeline rupture by the pipeline company or the safety risk with CO2. That left them essentially guessing on how to properly respond. Now, the rupture was reported at 7:06 p.m. The first emergency call came in a short time later at 7:15 for reports of a foul smell and a green fog in the air, leaving emergency responders essentially thinking it was a chlorine leak in the water supply. Now, it wasn't until about 7:43 p.m., a full 30 minutes after that rupture, that emergency personnel discovered they were dealing with CO2. Now, this delay in information would be one of the biggest changes for safety in CO2 pipeline construction moving forward.
Its safety is intrinsic in how we design the project itself. Everything from the component pieces of the metal that goes into the piping to how we route ultimately where that infrastructure is intended to lie, how we go through response plans.
Nearly 2 years after the Satartia rupture, PHMSA announced new safety measures and oversight for carbon dioxide pipelines. One of the biggest changes was updating the standards for emergency preparedness and response. Heartland Greenway's Navigator and Summit Carbon Solutions say they are making safety an important component of their plan.
What we have learned from some of the other projects in the carbon capture space and how we've thus then improved those safety factors excuse me, as part of our design and routing and implementation.
We have safety and environmental people on staff today that are working with the local communities as we speak.
I'm not concerned about it because the pipelines today are so much better than they were 20, 30 years ago, just because of technology.
Kelly Neuenhaus is a farmer in rural O'Brien County, Iowa. He has signed easement agreements with both Navigator and Summit to place pipelines on his property. Even though he is miles away from the nearest fire station, he isn't worried.
They got sensors on them, they got shut-off valves, and somebody's going to be watching those 24 hours a day.
We have the ability to really monitor this pipeline 24/7, which we will do.
We do regular drills and tests of those response plans on an ongoing basis, but we are also required and will go and reevaluate the risk models on the infrastructure itself.
Both companies say working with first responders throughout the project footprint is a high priority.
And we will properly train and supply various pieces of equipment that they may need to assist with an issue that may come up from our infrastructure project, even though the percentage or the odds of that are fairly small.
Just like there's not stagnation in business, there's also not stagnation in safety or how we evaluate the asset.
But for many in the path of these carbon dioxide pipelines, that's not enough. There is a genuine fear, they say, considering most of rural America is kept safe by volunteers.
If you look at it, they're placing a large burden on supposedly first responders that I don't think that they're going to meet. And so you can promise a lot of stuff, but whether it's ever actually going to come through, that's the question. And that's very, very doubtful.
Now tomorrow night for Along the Route, I speak with a medical expert on just what happens to the human body when exposed to high levels of carbon dioxide. Now, to see this piece again or any of the previous installments of Along the Route, you can visit SiouxlandNews.com or follow me on Facebook.